Star wide receiver Davante Adams has officially requested a trade away from the Las Vegas Raiders. So today here on NFL Daily, I'm going to be telling you guys about what's going to be going down here, all the reporting surrounding this, why we got to this point, and then I'm going to finish up the show with 6 teams that I could see landing the star wide receiver. Welcome into NFL Daily. I am your host, Jack Sperry. Make sure you guys click that subscribe button right now for breaking news coverage. Whenever the Davante Adams trade goes down, we're going to have you guys covered with a video right here from Chat Sports. So make sure you click that subscribe button right now to never miss any of our round-the-clock NFL coverage. So let's start here with the first report that came out from Vincent Bonsignore today, saying more on this to come. A league source with knowledge of the situation confirmed that the Raiders are growing open to the idea of trading Davante Adams. The source said the club has begun reaching out to teams to gauge interest in the veteran wide receiver. Then we had this report from Ian Rappaport yesterday saying Raiders star wide receiver Davante Adams informed the team that he prefers to be traded per me and Mike Garafolo. There is nothing imminent but a situation to watch for sure. So how did we get into this situation? Well, here's how. It started with an Instagram post, actually, that Raiders head coach Antonio Pierce liked from Sports Illustrated that suggested that Davante Adams has played his final snap with the Las Vegas Raiders. This is what the post looked like from Sports Illustrated on Instagram, saying, don't be surprised if Davante Adams has already played his last snap with the Raiders. Then Davante Adams went on the Up and Adams podcast with Kay Adams yesterday and had this to say about the situation. I haven't heard from Antonio Pierce. I really don't know. I don't really know exactly what that's all about. There's been no communication with anybody from the team. So obviously that pissed him off a little bit because now he has requested a trade away from the team. And according to ESPN's Adam Schefter, the rumored asking price right now is not a first, a second-round pick plus a mid-round draft pick. So this is what Adam Schefter had to say yesterday on what the Raiders are looking for in terms of compensation. ESPN sources. Raiders have informed other teams that they would, quote-unquote, consider trading wide receiver Davante Adams for a package that would include a second-round pick and additional compensation. So when they say consider, that pretty much means that's what they would take if someone is willing to offer them that. So pretty much, man, I think that when you look at a guy like Davante Adams, yes, he's 31 years old. Yes, he hasn't been the most productive receiver in the league since joining the Raiders, but the quarterback play has been really bad there. He's still one of the best route runners in football, so one of the best contested catch winners down the field in football. I think that any team that's looking to win a championship right now could certainly use a number one receiver like Davante Adams, and I really do expect multiple teams to be interested in trading for this man here as they continue their pursuit of a Lombardi trophy. So you take a look at his profile here, and you got to keep in mind here when it comes to his contract. He still has 3 years left on his current deal, 2 after this season, so that 3-year number includes this season. If he's traded today, his cap hit for the new team is only going to be $13.1, a little bit more than that, $1 million for this season. But then in the next 2 seasons, that cap hit goes up exponentially to $35.65 million in just his base salary for the 2025 and 2026 seasons. So that's going to create a little bit of a contract situation to whoever ends up acquiring Davante Adams. But there's a lot of teams out there that could certainly use a number one receiver. We'll talk about them later in today's show. And I certainly think there's going to be quite a few teams giving the Raiders calls in regards to Davante Adams. So what say you guys? Let me know down there in the comments section. Will Adams be on a new team by the end of this week? Give me a yes or a no for me down there in the comments section. This will be the pinned comment on today's show. So YouTube's going to throw you an ad break here in just a couple of seconds. When that happens, take advantage of that time by giving me a yes or a no down there in the comments. So coming up here on NFL Daily, top Davante Adams trade destinations, my top 6 teams that I could see landing the number one receiver from Las Vegas. But before we get into all that, let's have a word from our sponsor here at Game Time, which is the fastest and easiest way to buy tickets for the sports, music, comedy, and theater in your area. And folks, we all know that experiencing a sporting event, especially a football game live, is unlike anything you can get from watching the game on your couch. Lucky for you, Game Time has a brand new feature called Game Time Picks, picks, which filters out the fluff to show you only incredible deals on great seats so you don't have to waste time searching through thousands of tickets. What I love about the Game Time app is you get the lowest price guarantee on any ticket to any event, all-in pricing so you don't get slapped with crazy fees at checkout, and flash deals so you can get even cheaper tickets the closer you wait to game time. Take the guesswork out of buying tickets with Game Time today. Download the Game Time app, create an account, and use code CHATSPORTS. That's one word, all caps, CHATSPORTS, for $20 off your first purchase. Terms apply. Again, it's just for that first purchase. Create an account with Game Time today. Redeem code CHATSPORTS for $20 off. Download Game Time today. What time is it? Game time. So the first name here on my list of potential Davante Adams destinations is the Pittsburgh Steelers. Now, the Steelers have started their season 3-1, and obviously Justin Fields is playing pretty decent football, over 70% completion percentage. He's not turning the ball over, and this Steelers defense is one of the best in football right now. And right now, the Pittsburgh Steelers, let's just say that they are desperate for another wide receiver. This team was definitely in play. In fact, they were just mere minutes away from acquiring Brandon Ayuk, if you believe Jay Glazer from Fox Sports. But they are still in need of a number 2 receiver or a complimentary receiver next to George Pickens. Van Jefferson has been their number 2 receiver to this point, but he only has 5 catches in 4 weeks. He's been pretty invisible. And Davante has the size that Arthur Smith, their new offensive coordinator, likes. He can run block, and obviously he's got a very similar skill set to George Pickens. Bigger guy, good route runner, a very complete receiver. So if you have 2 of those guys on this Steelers offense, this passing attack with Justin Fields leading the way is only going to get more dangerous. The Steelers are in win-now mode. Some people might be saying, are the Steelers really title contenders with Justin Fields as their quarterback? Maybe you can think not, but the Steelers certainly feel like they are. They have the most expensive defense in football. It's really, really good. The Steelers feel like Justin Fields is the type of guy that they can win a Super Bowl with this year, and whether that's faulty thinking or not, the Steelers will be very aggressive to get this deal done for Davante Adams. Another team to keep in mind here is the Buffalo Bills. Now, the Bills are going to have to maneuver some things around because they have less than $4 million in cap space. Adding Adams would add $13.1+ million to their cap for this season, so they're going to have to cut somebody. They're going to have to maneuver some things around with their cap to make this work. But listen, man, a number 1 receiver in Buffalo with Josh Allen would completely change the game. You got some nice pieces there, Curtis Samuel, Khalil Shakir. I like the rookie Keon Coleman, what he's shown us so far, but a true number 1, an established number 1 in Buffalo, along with Josh Allen, the defense that they have there, an established culture there in Buffalo, would probably make this team the biggest threat to Kansas City in the AFC if they're not that already. And I just think that this would be a really good fit for both Davante, who would love to go to a team like Buffalo and play with a guy like Josh Allen and potentially win a Super Bowl. But it is going to be tricky for Buffalo because they do not have the cap space to pull it off right now, and they'll have to move some things around in order to make it happen. Then we get to the New York Jets here, and this is a name that's been thrown around a lot because of Davante's well-known relationship with new Jets quarterback Aaron Rodgers, and their chemistry is among the best in NFL history. Those guys, the run that those guys went on was absolutely generational. Plus, you already have Garrett Wilson on the roster, so if you combine the talents of Adams and Wilson on the same offense, that will be an absolutely lethal combo. The Jets offense has struggled out of the gate a little bit. They're having penalty issues. Nathaniel Hackett isn't necessarily doing a good job calling these football games because he never has. He's a terrible offensive coordinator. Does Davante Adams fix the coaching? No, but it certainly puts more talent in that wide receiver room, and it gives Aaron Rodgers a weapon that he has a lot of established chemistry with and will be good with him right away and really take this offense to the next level. Then we get to the New Orleans Saints, and speaking of guys that Adams has chemistry with already, Derek Carr, the reason why he actually went to the Las Vegas Raiders, is now in New Orleans, and they could use another receiver in that group. Rashid Shaheed is their deep threat. You got Chris Olave, who would be one of the best number 2 receivers in the league if you get Davante Adams here. And this Saints team is a very good defense led by head coach Dennis Allen. And I just think that if you add Davante Adams, that's just another piece that makes this Saints offense even more dangerous than they have been to start this 2024 campaign. If the Saints want to go all in and they want to try to go get a Super Bowl with Derek Carr as their quarterback, I think adding a guy in Davante Adams who has a ton of chemistry and experience with is probably the move to make if you're New Orleans. Then we get to Cleveland Browns here. Now, the Browns have been playing Amari Cooper here, and, obviously, I think that Cooper and the Browns have had a little bit of a falling out. It was leaked that the Browns were about to trade Amari Cooper to the San Francisco 49ers in an upgrade kind of trade for Brandon Ayuk. That ended up falling through because Ayuk didn't want to play for the Cleveland Browns, but it's still leaked nonetheless, and Cooper wasn't too happy about that. Amari hasn't had the best start to his 2024 campaign. He's dropping passes. He's not helping Deshaun Watson. So I still think Cleveland is going to be very, very interested in potentially making an upgrade here. I think that they're not willing to give another contract to Amari Cooper. Now, the cap situation will definitely get hairy in Cleveland if you acquire a very expensive receiver like Davante Adams. But hey, if they want to help Deshaun Watson play better and to kind of prove that he can be their franchise quarterback of the future here, for the foreseeable future anyway, getting a guy like Davante Adams would certainly help that endeavor. Then if you really want to go crazy here, the Baltimore Ravens, they don't have a lot of cap space. They're going to have to maneuver some stuff to make it happen for sure. They already have an excellent offense, so maybe the Baltimore Ravens just say, we don't need Davante Adams. That's certainly possible as well. But if they want to have an absolutely unstoppable offense with Derek Henry running the football, Lamar Jackson being a dual threat at quarterback, you already have Zay Flowers and Isaiah Likely, two very, very dynamic weapons offensively in the passing game, and you add Davante Adams, this would be one of the best offenses in league history, let alone today. It would just be absolutely unbelievable to watch Davante add to this group. Now, Baltimore doesn't need to make this move happen, especially because they don't necessarily have the cap space to make it happen. So I'd say this one's probably a little bit less likely, but I know Baltimore fans would love to add another weapon like Davante Adams if they can make it work. So predict it for me down there in the comments section. Where will Davante Adams play next? All right, will it be the Pittsburgh Steelers, a very desperate team? Will it be the New York Jets and Aaron Rodgers? Will it be the New Orleans Saints and Derek Carr? Let me know what you guys think down there in the comments section. Where will Davante Adams be traded? My best guess here, guys, and you guys, a lot of you probably know I am the Steelers host here at Chat Sports, but I do think the Steelers are in a situation here where they have a really good defense. They are desperate for help at wide receiver, and they're going to pay whatever price the Raiders are really asking for to get Davante in their building, man. The run game isn't very good in Pittsburgh right now. They believe in Justin Fields, but right now he really only has one reliable receiving target in George Pickens, who's getting double-teamed a ton this season. So if you add a guy like Davante Adams, that completely changes the dynamic for their offense this year. And I think that, he just looks good in a Pittsburgh Steelers uniform, doesn't he? I think the Steelers are desperate enough. I think they're going to pay up whatever they need to make this happen. So if I'm making my best guess right now, I think it's going to be the Steelers, but I could certainly see teams like the Jets or the Saints pull the trigger as well. So make sure you guys click that subscribe button if you haven't already. I greatly appreciate all of your guys' support. Again, when this trade, if a trade goes down, we're going to be having breaking news coverage for you guys right here on Chat Sports. It's going to be one of the biggest trades of the season before the NFL trade deadline here. Of course, we're going to have full trade deadline coverage as well right here on NFL Daily. So make sure you click that subscribe button to never miss any of our coverage.